So I can name with
How you doing, everyone? There we go. All right. So next up, we have somebody who's phenomenal. She's going to be doing a raw dessert demonstration. She's 100% vegan. You can follow her on Instagram, Against the Grain. Her Instagram stories are epic. I know I've been saying epic a lot today, but trust me, they're epic.
Are you ready for this?
Are you guys getting woke? This is the question. Because you're going to get woke right now with this vegan dessert presentation by Francesca Vegana.
All right.
Give her a round of applause.
Hi guys, so happy to be here. It's always nice being gathered with other like-minded individuals, whether you fully transitioned or in the process or just trying to learn more about the lifestyle and or yourself. That's always a pleasure to be around people who are looking to better themselves. So today what I'm going to make is a raw vegan brownie with coconut cream icing and coconut milk. The best part about this is it actually doesn't take that long. It involves a few pieces of equipment, but it's nothing too crazy. So afterwards, I'll be hanging around if anyone wants to give me information for recipes and whatnot. We'll take care of that. I also have my business card outside and have a website and be happy to connect with anyone as you like. Alright, so first things first, let me walk you through my ingredients. So I have some organic dates, some of which I already soaked. Have some walnuts, some organic cacao powder, some coconut, but if you'll notice the coconut isn't white, and the reason it's not white is because it's raw. And whenever it's raw, that means it hasn't had any preservatives put on it, anything that's unnatural. It's just the actual raw, dried fruit, whatever it is. And so its natural color will be typically between a light brown to a pinkish color. It's still fine. And then here, I have what I've already drained off, was part of the date juice. This recipe actually is oil-free, it's additional sugar-free, and it's gluten-free as well as being vegan and raw. So let's get things started. So first of which, we're going to make our base. The base is going to be made out of walnuts and dates. So I'm going to go ahead and get the food processor started.
Part of the fun.
That's part of the fun.
Yeah.
You can get messy. What's the point?
Right, just throw it at us. Just throw it all over.
So now we're going to blend some dry ingredients. So I'm going to take the cacao powder. Another thing is I'm not really big for following rules. So I pretty much just eyeball it and smell it. But again, whenever it comes to helping others make recipes, I can always walk you through that process. As you can see, the nut mixture has become a nice chocolatey color. So now we're going to use in some wet ingredients. And this is where it gets fun. So you want to ease it in you really want to pay attention to how you're processing your ingredients because that will dictate the texture and the taste of what you're getting. So now we're getting a nice ball. So we're going to cook it up a little bit more. Get it a little bit more solid. And check the texture. See what we're working with here. That looks like a good time. Alright. And that is our base. So next, we're going to make the coconut cream.
You said that coconut is like just like the coconut meat?
So if you were making it from scratch, you could actually take the meat from the coconut, puree that, set it in the refrigerator overnight. Once you set it in there, the gelatinous part separates from the milk part, the liquid part, and the fat comes out. Again, paying attention to how you're processing the food, especially when it's in its raw state, how you're preserving it and temping it out. It dictates the different changes in it. So what happens is, this is canned, but again, it's close to when you're refrigerating things, it's a little bit different in terms of the rules that we play with when it comes to raw food. But typically, what I would do is just have a regular coconut, take the meat, puree it, put it in the fridge overnight, and then you're going to have like this thick white substance on top. Now, whenever you're making it, you're going to always have the separation of the cream and then also the liquid, the water or the milk. So you want to remove that so that you have it. To make other fun things with.
You've got all these weapons and tools and shit.
Well, when you know how to use things, it's just a matter of using them.
Become a master.
Sort of like knowledge. Knowledge is power. And once you've been empowered with something, you just follow suit with it. So now we're going to take the cream, put it in the blender. See the milk's coming out a little bit more now. A fun fact about coconut water is that in World War, or during the war overseas in Pearl Harbor, when we had troops in Hawaii and in those islands, when they needed blood transfusions, they would actually substitute the milk and the water, or the water rather, coming from the coconuts because it's one of the closest things to actual glucose that they had available, and even present day. It's still used in a survival situation. Fun tidbit. Alright, so I'm just going to open another pan. And again, depending on the size of the dessert, depending on how many servings you want, would determine how much you're going to use. I'm going to drain. Got a squirter. Alright, there we go. The coolest part about this is that you don't need any fillers to chicken, no additional agents, no guar gum, no gar, none of these things. Nothing against it, but when you're trying to venture into raw desserts, a lot of times getting the same texture and taste can be difficult. Not just as when you're doing it raw, but also when you're trying to keep it vegan. So now we've got our coconut cream. I'm going to just mash it down a little bit more because it's pretty solid because I kept it chilled. Again, paying attention to the temperature and how that dictates the manipulation of the texture. And now we're just going to start to blend it. Start it on low. I'm adventurous, so I take the lid off things a lot. And the coolest thing about a lot of the things that I make is that it's not something that requires, a multiple $100 piece of equipment. Like this blender was like $30 for this one. Very affordable. Okay, so now as you can see, this is starting to thin out a little bit. Well, I'm going to want to sweeten it, so I'm going to take the date juice that I've already dehydrated, rationed off.
How did you use the date?
So the dates, just regular distilled water, soaked overnight. Take the water off of it, and then take juice water. So it's all natural, organic, and our favorite raw. So as you can see, that's thinned it out a little bit. So again, paying attention to texture and consistency, and that's also going to be whatever your preference is. We're going to ease in the coconut flakes. You always want to start on a low speed, one, because whenever you're using any kind of equipment, it's going to heat up. And as it heats up, it starts to oxidize your food. When you're talking about raw food, that's the important thing to pay attention to, because oxidation actually compromises the bioavailability of the nutrients that you may or may not be targeting. So as this gets thicker, it's going to start like going up a lot more. So you're not making a mess, and it's not fun. I make it fun. I mean, unless you have to clean it up, then that just sucks. But I remind myself of that when I'm at home making things. Alright, so this is a good texture for what I'm shooting for right now. But because once I heat it up, it's going to melt a little bit more. I'm going to add another pinch. And you just want to eyeball it. One, because your texture is going to be dependent on the size coconut flakes you're using, the amount of the coconut cream you're using, and also how much of the water you're using. And that whole ratio will dictate the texture as well as the flavor of what you're doing. So now we're going to process this a little bit. A cool thing whenever you're using different types of ware, especially if you're making brownies or any kind of cupcakes or anything, if you take a plastic bag and you put it, I know we're not big on plastic here, but a little bit better than the wax. Put it over, it helps with having it pop out. Whereas with wax, or if you were to use saran wrap or whatnot, it doesn't always pop out the same way. And sometimes the bits get caught in your food and whatnot, and that's no fun. So now going back to our initial mixture, brownie mixture, which smells fantastic. Take that. And we are going to, where did my spoon go? I mean, I could hand this, but, alright, that's what's gonna happen. So the really cool thing about this is it's actually really fun if you have kids or nieces and nephews. I have been working with special needs populations now for about 10 years before I started my career recently. And it was really nice having the opportunity to work with individuals with autism and specialty disorders on their diet, and also their sensory issues when it came to food, because a lot of times individuals have special tastes and they can develop aversions and have sensory issues. So for caregivers and for families, a lot of times it's very difficult, one, to navigate their diet, and then two, to navigate their palate. So that's one of the cool things about raw food and creating it. It's always going to be fun. Working with my kids in the past, they always loved whenever I whip the blender or the food processor out. Hands down, they love the food processor because they can just watch stuff disintegrate. It's pretty cool. I'm an adult and all of that. So right now, I have just scooped the brownie mixture out, and I'm just mashing it into the mold. Look, did no one see the spoon? Really? It was here the entire time, now that my glove's dirty. The struggle is real. Alright, okay, here we go. It's not even helping me. See, this is why we can't have nice things. Alright. So, we have our brownie mixture. Now we're going to add our cream. I think the spoon will be handy here. Let's see. Actually, it's much better. Sits a little bit. Now, once you've made this, you want to refrigerate it for 2 to 4 hours. If you have a 12-hour window, that's even better, because the longer that you chill it and let it sit, the firmer it'll get. And then it also gives the taste and the flavors a chance to marry. Can I give this to someone to go put in the freezer? Please? Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now, we're going to move on to our coconut milk. Excuse me. Would you please hand me another set of gloves? Thank you. Thank you. So now, the cool thing about whenever you take the cream from the coconut milk is that you're getting basically a 2-for-1. So you're going to have the cream and you're also going to have the milk. Now, depending on your sugar and your dietary needs and preferences will determine how you process and create and make the milk. The way that we're going to do it today is I already have made some from a prior batch, and we're just going to blend it together and mix it on up and make it a good time. We like good times. Those are the best. So this is the coconut milk that I just described, mixed with some date juice and also some water. We want to blend it mainly because, again, it's going to mix the flavors, but also, again, pay attention to temperature. The temperature causes some different chunks to come out as it chills. It's just a wee bit at the bottom. I'll just add it in. Take it to high again. Press the high. The coolest part about making milk this way is this one doesn't require a milk bag. Even one that's made other types of milk like camp milk, almond milk, soy milk, a milk bag. So that's one of the cool things about this, unless you're actually making it from the coconut flakes, which that would have taken a little bit longer, but it's easy to do. Then when you make it that way, you can actually separate the coconut cream yourself again to thin it out, and then have this. You're going to want a 24-hour process, but it's very easy and it's really affordable. That's another upside to this. So now, Josh took our brownies away. What happened? It's okay. You know, it's okay.
Wait, so real quick.
Because I come prepared. Questions at the end, please?
Oh,
So here we go.
respect.
Now open this.
Respect.
And remember I told you the cool thing about the plastic bag is that it helps with the mold process, which that in itself can be such a hurdle. I'm really big on presentation, but I can't guarantee that's what you'll get today, guys.
I'm not.
Brownie coconut cream. Alright, so I'm going to cut up some pieces. You guys feel free to come up and get some. I don't have any napkins, but then there's also the coconut milk, and we had some little cups here. If you'd like to. So that's my presentation. Thank you, guys. You had a question?
Oh, I forgot it.
I'm sure you'll remember.
Oh yeah, the nutbag thing. Okay,
Yes.
so you said that that's just with the coconut, or you don't even use the nutbag at all, because
You can use the nut bag for everything, and actually I was at an Asian market and found the tea bag that they used was, you know, comparable to the $12 nut bag that I purchased, and it was only $2. And I was like, okay.
Oh, and the
Yeah.
same size and everything.
Same size. In fact, when I brew my kombucha, I used those tea bags. It's a tea bag that could also be used for a nut milk bag.
Right. Okay, cool.
And it's, again, if you're on a budget, or if you have a family, or you're on a specialty diet and trying to explore some things, or just trying to be whole foods plant-based, it's always nice to experiment with different textures and flavors. Did anyone else have a question?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Was there a reason why you used the gluten-free dates versus the Mijol date, or?
I prefer Mijol, but because that's what I had locally, I try to support local businesses, and that's what they had at their facility. You're welcome. And so that was the reason why, but Mijol is very well, there's actually quite a few types. So if you have any kind of local markets that you patron, I always encourage you to try and explore the different tastes and flavors and textures. But Mijol is definitely one of my favorites.
Did you soak the walnuts first?
I did not soak the walnuts. The walnuts are completely dry. And just add them into processing. Now, whenever you're making different desserts, you actually, depending on what you're shooting for, you don't want to soak your nuts just because you really want those oils. You want those oils to come out. The oils and those fats really enhance the flavor and the texture of your dish. Again, it depends on what your target is when your end result. To whether or not you would soak. If I was making a cheesecake, it would be different. For example, with cashews, I would soak those. But otherwise, if you're making a crust for something, you don't want to soak it, because you want those oils to come out, because that'll help with the binding. And then you don't have to add anything extra. That's the other side of this. Like, this is all oil-free. This is all 100% whole food, plant-based. And it's also raw, so you're actually getting the maximum benefit from your food while you're indulging your sweet tooth.
You don't have to be there. You don't have
So
to
the
be
coconut milk was coconut, the juice of the
The dates.
dates,
and everybody goes.
And that's it. No order.
Is there a sample left?
Yeah.
I want some.
So Francesca,
Everybody looks so happy.
do you
Yes.
do you post your recipe like online too?
I do have a website, and I will be posting like a recipe a week for people, but typically I just talk with people one-on-one. As you can see, I don't measure things, I don't weigh things. I've been doing this for a while, so for me it's really just play with the texture, but obviously someone else who's just trying to explore it, I could help in that regard. Yeah. Did anyone else have a question? How does it taste?
Good.
Really
Does
good.
it taste good? Awesome, lovely.
I gotta give a shot.
Please, come. Come and help yourself and get seconds.
What do you do with the dates after you soak them?
So, for me, what I'll do, depending on what I'm trying, what I'm making, or what I'm prepping, so with what's left over, I'll make a caramel sauce. And I'll use that for like some fruits and make a dip with it. It's very easy, and then you just drain the water off of it and keep it. You don't want to cook it or anything, but it'll keep in a glass sealed container for about 3 to 5 days. The reason that's important is, as you can see with this, there's actually space in between, so that's oxygen. Oxygen is necessary to process the oxidation and the breakdown of food or whatever you're having. Very important if you're juicing, and also if you're doing smoothies and keeping it for any amount of time. So whenever you're keeping anything outside of when you just used it raw, you want to put it in a container where it's as close to the top, so there's as little of, please come, as little of an exchange of oxygen. Whenever I do my juices, and I make juices in bulk, I literally, please help yourself, and this is the milk. Whenever I do my juicing, my juices last anywhere between 5 to 7 days. And it's all about how you preserve it. It's all about how you preserve it, and it tastes as good as it did the 7th day as the day of. So it's just really important to understand when you're preserving things naturally, paying attention to the temperature, paying attention to the processing, and also knowing the quality of the ingredients you have. I know that in this area, when I lived down here, I patroned a lot of the local farmers markets. They're organic. Organic I encourage, especially if it's local, because that's just a whole nother gamut of enzymes and natural immunity boosters that you're going to get from your food, especially if you're leaning towards raw food.
Are you a full Roddy?
I was 100% raw for a couple of years. At that point in time, I was trying to heal myself because I had a very bad skin disorder. I had really bad eczema, and I actually had lesions of welts on my skin, and it really looked very bad, like my whole hand, my arm, just, it was terrible. And at the time, I had been vegan for about 4 months, and I'd never had kale before. I'd never had a green juice before, and I just saw a documentary, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and I was open to it. I actually remember before Dennis and Lena opened this establishment, communicating with them in the community and the raw food community, learning more about it and choosing my path. So my path was 100% raw for a couple of years. I healed myself of my condition. I also make all my body care products. And I make those, and I feature those as well on my website. And those are shea butter, organic fair trade shea butter, coconut oil base with organic essential oils, again fair trade and ethically sourced, because that's a big component of my veganism. For me as a vegan, when I became vegan, it was for human rights and the environment. My feelings towards animal advocacy and awareness came later on, but that's a huge component of what I do, is really trying to source things locally and support local economy and small people, small businesses. Any other questions?
What was your name again?
I'm Francesca, but I go as Against the Grain online. I have a Twitter, I have Instagram, I have a YouTube, I have Facebook, and also I think we have a Flickr. So yeah, just trying to spread awareness.
What's your Instagram again?
Against the Grain. And I have cards out there that feature, have everything in case you guys didn't get it.
Her Instagram stories are amazing. I watch them all.
Thank you.
I'm always like, man, I wish I was that person in the kitchen.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'll be putting more videos and stuff up with the foods and stuff. But yeah, always happy to share.
What is this again?
That is a raw brownie with coconut cream icing.
And what is the brownie part made with?
The brownie is organic fair trade cacao, raw and organic, and then organic raw coconut flakes with coconut cream and coconut cream. And then date juice.
Oh, okay. Date juice.
You're welcome.
Okay. Nothing else? Like any nuts or anything like that?
Walnuts.
Oh,
That's
okay.
also in the base.
Walnuts. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Kind of wander in the middle of things and grab
Please.
some too.
That's right.
Just grab me
Here. Help yourself. You're gonna want more than one.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm coming from one of those.
Let me that person.
Not bad.
One of the coolest things about this particular one that I made is that if you know anyone that's diabetic, anyone that's having blood sugar issues, dates are actually really good in terms of curbing sweet cravings, and also it's got a lower impact on the hypoglycemic index. So it's going to be that kind of sugar they process. Did you want some milk? It's gonna definitely break down differently in the system than it would otherwise. You're welcome. And so that's one of the cool things about dates. And also, if you do any kind of competitions or any kind of training or weightlifting, I'm actually a sponsored triathlete. I've been for 3 years. I'm transitioning into bikini competitions because I was in a bad car accident. During that time, I had 2 herniated discs, one in the lumbar and cervical column of my back. During that time, I was recommended for surgery and a whole multitude of painkillers and things like that to help me deal with with the pain I was in. I refused the surgery, and I also refused the injections. I refused the pills. And so ultimately I was able to heal myself with my lifestyle and using natural things like a natural chiropractor and whatnot.
I need to clap.
And it's definitely been a gift for me for the last 6 years. It's been a gift for me because I know so many people that have had the surgeries. I remember when I was in front of the pain specialist at 5 o'clock after working 10 hours and in tears because I was in so much pain, and they said the only option was for me to have surgery. And not just any surgery, neck surgery. And where there could be all kinds of complications and have to live off of spinal injections the rest of my life. And I was 29. So I'm just very grateful today, not only that I know about the raw food lifestyle, but that I also know how to heal myself naturally. And when I don't know, I know how to dive into a community of others that do know or have some experience. So that's why I'm so happy to get to come here and share space with you guys and energy. And if that's it, it's
Hell
been a
yeah.
pleasure.
Damn, awesome.
What is your favorite thing to make cheesecake?
See, that's the issue for me. I don't have a favorite. It's like, what do I feel like making today? What do I feel like making? And then I make it.
You do cashew based a lot?
I actually don't do cashew a lot. When I was 100% raw, I was started down the road many people go with the more indulgent things. So I was doing a lot of cashew-based stuff. And what I found is, like, for me, it was too acidic. So I started to get away from the nuts and just focused more on, like, whole foods for everything. So, like, even though I use nuts in this, you wouldn't have had to. I could have easily done it all with the coconut. And again, when you go into these smaller grocery stores and these local places, like, I can get a bag of this raw and organic for like $5 for 3 pounds. Good luck at Whole Foods. Like, you know, nuts, they're a little bit harder to source. And again, when you're sourcing different specific types of ingredients, I know one woman asked about the dates. This can be a little bit more pricey. When you're talking about organic and fair trade, that does tend to get a little bit more pricey. But again, it's finding local sources and vendors. I believe you guys sell some stuff here.
Package? No, we don't really package.
Okay.
We just sell bean powder and hemp oil.
I know Raul at Greenway, they do some things that are already prepackaged, but at a lot of the farmers markets around, they do that as well. Please come if you'd like to get another sample or some milk up yourself.
Do you do any vegan cookies?
Say that again?
Vegan cookies? Do you have any
Cookies.
vegan cookies?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Pretty much, I make it, but I stop with like the markets and sales just because for me and for my lifestyle, I already have like a a career, so this is more of a hobby for me.
Oh.
But that's why I support other people. If you want to do like recipes and stuff like that, it's pretty much tell me what you want to make and we can go from there.
Okay.
Who wants to try it out? Let's go. Let's go. Somebody spit something. Come on. Give me a recipe. Give me something. What do you want to eat? Let's talk.
How would you do like a chicken fettuccine alfredo?
Okay, fettuccine alfredo. First, we're going to take a head of cauliflower. We're going to soak that.
Wait, she's
We're
already
going
ready
to
to
boil
fire
it.
off.
And we're going to boil the cauliflower so that it's soft. Okay? We're going to take in a skillet, you're going to take some, depending on if you have access to alcohol or not. A lot of times when you cook alcohol, the alcohol content comes out. I personally don't drink alcohol, but I do use it in different cooking dishes. So you take a white wine. I would recommend a Chardonnay. And take that, saute. First you're going to saute the garlic in whole cloves with some onions and add some pepper to that. Let that marry and mix for a good 5 minutes. Now the good thing about onions is that if you let them sweat, you actually don't need to add oil. You're going to add oil because it's Alfredo. But drizzle some olive oil on top of that, let it sweat for about 5 minutes, saute it. Then you're going to take the wine, throw that on it, and it's going to reduce. It's going to leave a nice flavor. You're going to take what you have from your cauliflower. That's already been drained and it's cooked down until it's soft. You're going to add that. You're going to saute it in the pan. Put the lid back on it again. You want it to sweat. You want it to marry. So once it does that, you take it off the heat. It's probably another 10 minutes. Let it cool down. You're going to put it in a blender. Blend it until it's a nice thin consistency. It's going to give you the white color. You're going to have your pepper. You're going to have your flavor. So you said chicken cutlet. Okay, so depending on if you're going to use a processed food product or if you're going to make it from scratch, which one are we going to do?
We're gonna make process.
Process. So I would recommend Beyond Meat. It's got a higher protein content. The texture's pretty good, and they don't just have soy based. So you have some options. So you're going to take that. You're going to coat it in some olive oil and some panko breadcrumbs. And you're going to toast that in the oven for about 5 minutes. Take it out again. Dip it in oil again. And this time you're going to hit it with some garlic seasoning and some Italian herb seasoning. Toast that, put it back in the oven, toast it again for another 5-10 minutes, so now you're going to have a good crust. After that, you're going to take your fettuccine noodles. I recommend using a rice-based noodle because it's got a higher protein content. Personally, I like the edamame pasta, but again, it depends on you and your dish and what you want. So you would take the pasta, you would cook it. Again, the texture and the however you want, if you want it al dente, if you want it soft or whatever. Cook that according to its directions, take it off. Drain it, hit it with some Himalayan sea salt and some black sea salt. Now the black sea salt is a little bit different. Black salt is actually going to give you more of a eggy, sulfury kind of flavor, and it's also going to enhance your Alfredo sauce. You don't want to add it to the Alfredo sauce because it's going to get lost in the other flavors that you already have going on. So that's why you want to put it on your pasta versus the other. So now you have your pasta, now you have your cutlets, now you have your sauce. Plate, pasta, sauce, cutlet, drizzle on some Italian seasoning.
Damn, girl, you on this shit.
So that's some of the things that I do for different
Damn.
people in the community, and also in other demonstrations. I have a card out front.
Gosh, you're awesome.
You're on.
And you could use that cauliflower sauce that, let's say, on like a raw zucchini. I mean, yeah, like if you just
Raw
fry
zucchini,
zucchini,
yeah.
and just throw that
In
sauce on.
fact, you could make the same recipe minus the cooked pasta and the cooked components of the dish I just described. You can make that raw.
I could still do it.
Just by sauteing. Not sauteing, again, it depends because what you're going to cook raw, you want it temp underneath, 118, 108 degrees, so you can still hit it with heat, but you have to be on top of your temping out. So again, it's like how complicated do I want to make this? In a Vitamix, which Josh has, you just toss everything in
That's
there,
what I have.
put it on high,
Right.
done. 5 minutes, done. It's hot, it's ready to go. Put it on some zucchini noodles, it's a good time. All right.
Well,
So
thank you.
that's it. Josh, would you hit the stop button, please? You said I have some